3 months ago, I left my corporate marketing job, bought a ticket to Tokyo, and disappeared. Not because I had it all figured out. I didn't. Not because I had a perfect plan. I definitely didn't. Today, I'm gonna share what really happens after you leave your 9 to 5 and how to survive, heal, and actually thrive in one of the most transformative periods of your life. I'm going to talk about the important truth of healing after leaving your 9 to 5, your corporate soul-sucking job. If you actually follow closely what I'm about to share in this video, it would only be a matter of weeks or even a few short months before you're directly on the path to your dream career and your dream lifestyle. I'm talking about dream career, the one that actually unlocks the full potential of who you are and your dream lifestyle as well. Let me show you something I've never shared before. This is my actual journal entry from during the time period that I was quitting. And here is what nobody tells you about leaving your 9 to 5. Whether you quit on your own, were fired, or let go, here's the truth. The hard part isn't the leaving, it's the unbecoming. Leaving your 9 to 5 isn't just about changing jobs. It's about rewiring your entire relationship with time, worth, and energy. Think of your corporate identity like that operating system that you've been running in the background for years. When you leave, you're not just closing a couple of apps or restarting your computer. You're doing a complete system reset. And just like any reset, there are specific phases that you have to move through. Phase 1, I call the transition. This phase is about feeling and processing. So the first thing, do not force productivity. The rush, the pressure, that's your old corporate identity talking. Take days or even weeks to let emotions surface and release them as they come. You might go through the 5 stages of grief, feeling anything from a sense of loss to anger to acceptance. It's literally just like a breakup. Rushing this process and not allowing yourself to feel your emotions will only store lots of heavy, unprocessed emotions for later on in your life, and you do not want that. So to feel your emotions, cry, rant to your friends and loved ones, go to therapy, journal. I actually had a black moleskin journal just for my shadow work during this process because it was something I had been avoiding for a couple of years, and I actually wrote through that entire notebook. Journaling and other ways of processing my emotions helped me release my guilt, shame, anger, and even feelings of relief. A big part of why we want to face our emotions is because each emotion is there to teach us something about ourselves. Again, leaving your 9 to 5 could be one of the most transformative experiences of your life. When we commit and actually lean in, we can actually learn about ourselves in this complex, weird journey of being human. I want you to become aware of the emotions that you've built up during your last corporate period. The bonus in this transition phase, if you feel up to it depending on your circumstance, is finding the silver linings or gratitude in the past role. Obviously, this depends on your situation. I really loved the team that I worked for and learned a lot, so I could definitely feel a lot of gratitude in this process as well. You can never have too much gratitude. The funny thing is, when I first landed in Tokyo, I was so ready to rebuild. I wanted to immediately build new routines, new systems, and even throw myself into an intense monk mode. I didn't realize it at the time, but my brain was still operating on tech startup timeline. I was still operating on corporate time, but healing doesn't work on a corporate timeline. Phase 2 is gonna be your reset. So after you've delved in and hopefully emerged through the emotionally messier transition phase, a new Pokemon appears. This sudden lack of structure. It's actually one of the hardest parts about the transition for me personally, but here's how to navigate this. First thing we gotta do is stop bed-rotting. I've been there, it's okay, but you wanna stop playing video games for 10 hours a day. You wanna stop telling yourself, it's fine if I go to sleep again at 3 a.m. for one more night. I mean, it's not like I have a job to go to anyways. Together, let's get out of the spiral of staying up late and doing nothing meaningful and spiraling in your head. Awareness is key. And if you actually delved deeply into the first phase that we just went through, hopefully your energy has naturally lifted you a little bit away from this stage. So next, you want to start building gentle routines. Sustainable, healthy habits like walking, journaling your thoughts for the day, having regular meals. And keep in mind, at this stage, we're not yet thinking about productivity. The goal is actually to get your body, mind, and spirit into a healthy, physical, balanced state. This is like setting a clean foundation for yourself now that you've left corporate and are healing. P.S. Checklists, especially daily to-do lists, really help get me established and keep me on track in the initial few days of this phase. In this step of healing, we also want to focus on your holistic health. For a lot of us, when busy seasons at work hit, exercise might be one of the first things to go out the window. Moving your body is a reminder of the precious gift of your health. This is incredibly healing because when we reconnect to our bodies, it naturally reminds us of our fundamental worth, not as a function within a larger corporation or machine of output, but actually just about our fundamental existence and peacefulness. Health brings that, checking into your body brings that. When we work for a company, it's so easy to start tying our worth to revenue numbers or our ability to hit KPIs, our role at work. But truthfully, all of us, there's a deeper us within the core, and we bring that actually to every job that we're at. And by taking care of yourself holistically, you will begin to reconnect with that part more, and it'll boost your self-esteem. So move your body, rest when you're tired, and start prioritizing self-care. I also want you to set boundaries. Maybe your boundaries got trampled over in your previous role and you felt like you could never say no to incoming projects or deadlines. Learn to say no without guilt and rediscover where your natural boundaries lie. Again, this could be one of the most transformative phases of your life, and I truly think boundaries are one of the most important things that we could establish for ourselves. The last part of this phase of getting ourselves back into a balanced human state is to address any blockers. This could be an addiction that you're dealing with, really bad habits that are wreaking havoc on your life. This could be poor mental health or a chronic physical health condition that you never got around to addressing. Try to use this phase to work through it meaningfully. And if you're starting to feel overwhelmed, that's totally fair. I actually have a free checklist of all of these steps in the next ones that you can download for free. I also have a more extended guide for those of you who are struggling in this period and want extended support. You can also access both of these tools immediately to kickstart your healing. In Tokyo, in this phase, I started going on day trips to the countryside. I started learning about nutrition. I started adjusting my sleep schedule by setting more boundaries with myself and building up my discipline muscle, and moved my body daily, even if it was just taking walks around the neighborhood. It wasn't perfect, and it definitely wasn't the productive monk mode that I had initially planned for myself, but I was starting to feel like a human again. I was starting to feel like myself again as my mind and body began to reset to a more balanced state. So at this point, this could be a few weeks in for you. For me, it was around exactly a month after leaving my job. You will start to question everything, and I mean everything. Your values, your goals, your personality, your strengths. This isn't a crisis. It's actually a gift. Here's how to work with what I call the rediscovery phase. I think of this period as the unfiltered rediscovery of self. Explore interests that you've neglected or find new ones. Start a small bucket list. There doesn't need to be a point to any of this. Again, we're not in corporate mode. We're not always looking at the results of things. Have fun, because healing also includes joy. Spend time with your friends and families. Go on small adventures. Try new experiences. You literally don't have a 9-to-5 job to clock into anymore, so you have all the time and freedom essentially to do this. That's partly why I moved to Tokyo. As you're realigning and doing all of these things, notice when new interests begin to emerge. Follow anything that gives you sparks of energy or passion, and trust the timing of things. None of these things have to add up or amount to anything. They don't have to go on your resume. Do this healing work from a place of curiosity and joy, not out of pressure. I've made this mistake before in my younger life. This is a beautiful form of healing because it's a reminder to ourselves that life isn't just about work. I know in fast-paced corporate America, it's so easy to get sucked into that swing of things, but truly there's so much more to life than just working. Whether you're someone's mother, father, partner, support, mentor, friend. I have to remind myself of this all the time. And for me, this is where life began to feel expansive again. I explored Tokyo like it was my freaking anime playground. I dove deeper into my Japanese and explored new creative hobbies. Now, I know you're thinking, Allie, this all sounds great, but what about money? What about my future? What about my career? We're getting there. It's right up ahead. We saved it for last because this can be one of the most anxiety-inducing parts, but don't worry, we'll walk through it together. I've done this multiple times in my life and landed in a more aligned, high-paying career, so I know this works. And I also have a fully decked out guide on this in case you need the extra support. So let's get into the fourth phase, which is rebuilding. As a dreamer and a doer, this is actually my favorite part. And people think healing work is all about just feeling your emotions or processing things, but to me, healing work is also putting in the daily actions to help you become the person you want to be. Healing is actively taking care of yourself and taking action. At least that's how I think of it sometimes. And that's why healing's also not easy. So the final phase is about alignment and moving forward authentically and practically. By practical, I mean we're gonna get you polished up, we're gonna get you interviews, get you on track to that dream career and that dream pay. Here's exactly how to navigate this. I want you to define success on your own terms. This is where more of the heavy lifting personal development comes in. I want you to identify the kind of next dream job that you want. Look at what skills you bring to the table and where you might need more work. The great thing is with internet, AI, all these crazy things nowadays, you can build and learn whatever you want. So there is no reason that you can't position yourself to be a potential for that dream job. The sky is the limit, truly. And if you need more help, I do one-on-one coaching. My clients get amazing results. So if you really are serious about jumpstarting into your dream career, you can use me as a resource as well. But basically, I want you to figure out where the gap is and close that gap. I would also really recommend you to gamify this stage. So when I'm going through this stage, I use Excel trackers to track my progress, whether that's like how many jobs I'm applying for each day. Bullet journaling is also a way to make a busy week more inspired and fun. So you can like literally bullet journal, or you can use a Notion page, which is what I've been doing recently. So try to gamify it and try to find a kind of structure that works well for you. It doesn't have to be a super rigid structure, but again, one of the hardest parts about leaving your 9 to 5 is the lack of structure that follows. Let's be real, we live in a world where things are changing very rapidly. So do some research to make sure your dream career is actually one that's still going to be around in 5 years. So whether you never want to go back to corporate or are already excitedly looking for your new role, this state is also about rebuilding your trust in the workplace. I know this might sound gross and overly optimistic, but it's actually a privilege to be able to contribute to the workplace. You can choose the terms and design for what that looks like. I help my clients do this all the time. Whether it's exploring freelance, starting your own business, or re-entering the corporate workforce, take small steps to regain confidence. If you've had a really toxic work experience, sometimes you can talk to friends who love their jobs or are at really healthy work environments to remind yourself that every work situation looks different and a lot of it is circumstance. And this is why boundary work is so key. Remember that journal entry I showed you at the beginning? Here's what I wrote 3 months later. This healing journey isn't just about quitting a job and then finding another one. It's about reconnecting with yourself, healing deeply from a human level, and rebuilding a life that feels like yours, rebuilding a life that you truly love. This is the real magic of healing from your previous 9 to 5. I have this free 9 to 5 checklist. Again, checklists are so helpful for keeping you on track, and also a more extensive guide depending on how much support you want. The links to those are in the description. You can get them immediately and start using them. Leaving your 9 to 5 isn't an end. It's a beginning. There is literally an infinite world of possibilities in front of you now. At the end of your healing is a life that truly aligns with who you are, a life that you're incredibly obsessed with. No matter where your path takes you, you always have the choice to thrive. I hope this video helped you so much. Love and blessings to you.